Today we're going to create an unheated South American biotop in this shallow tank. This will be kind of a fast flowing cooler water setup, and the fish that I have for this setup are rubber-nosed plecos, Chaetostoma. I have a group of 5 rubber-nosed plecos which are currently in this quarantine tank in here. And the other species that will be living in this setup will be Corydoras aenius Trinidad. I have them in here. They're actually still juveniles. They're wild-caught bronze cories, and actually you can probably see one in here. I'll try to zoom in. It's quite hard. They actually have quite bright green colors, unlike captive bred bronze cories. So they look very much like orange Venezuelan cories. It's been approximately a week since we set up this scape, this biotop style scape, and well, you can see I've added these bunches of Christmas moss attached to rocks, attached to driftwood, hoping that it will get established and hoping that it will create some sort of a carpet around here. You can see one of the rubber-nosed plecos popping up. So they seem to enjoy these cracks in slate rock, and they live in these cracks. Actually, this is, I guess, how they live in the wild, and they seem to enjoy this environment. This is one of the Corydoras aenius Trinidad, checking the bottom, and there's a whole bunch in here. Yeah, so the fish are mostly settled, but they're still quite shy, so they spend quite a lot of time hiding, and occasionally I can get to see rubber-nosed plecos because they are quite active and they hang around the tank. Corydoras are much more prone to hiding than the plecos. So yeah, you can see there's a lot of light on top of this fish tank. This is in order to encourage some algae growth. Yeah, that sounds weird, but I actually want to have quite a lot of algae in this setup because rubber-nosed plecos in general, all sort of this bulldog or rubber-nosed plecos enjoy algae. They are herbivorous species, well, the herbivorous genus of Loricariidae. So yeah, I have here a small Eheim pump, flow pump. I was thinking about adding a wave maker, but I only have a really powerful wave maker, which probably will be too much for this relatively small tank. So yeah, I'm hoping that rubber-nosed plecos will get established in here. There is approximately 2 males and 3 females, as far as I can see, and hopefully they will start breeding. There is a pleco cave in the background which they could probably use. But yeah, this is what it is for now, and this is certainly going to be kind of a quieter tank as compared to my other tanks, and if the moss gets established, and I'll probably try to get also a bit more rocks to create more rocky scape in here, and we'll see how it goes actually. So for now I'm quite happy with what it is, and this is basically a setup to create some breeding activity, because we have these 2 groups, and both of them are of course very young fish, so it's going to take them a while to get to the breeding size, and probably another half a year at least. So I will just have to wait and see what happens with these 2 groups, and in case of the Corydoras, I will certainly, oh, they have amazing colors. I will certainly try to breed them in a separate tank, in a separate setup. I just want to raise them up in here and to make sure that they reach breeding condition, and that's when I'll move pairs or groups into a separate tank, hopefully to get some spawning activity, but there will be some time before that happens. It's been a couple of weeks since we set up this shallow unheated South American biotop style aquarium, so I'll do a bit of a overview of the final state of this setup. It normally has a lid, it normally has a glass covering glass, but I removed it just to have a better view, because that way you can see how this tank looks from the top. So I've added this flow pump in here to create some sort of active movement on the surface, because both species of fish that are living in here, they would enjoy this type of current. And so yeah, you can see I've added quite a lot of Christmas moss growing on driftwood. There is also a piece of hornwort growing there, and golden pothos. Other than that, this tank, well, the plants, they seem to be growing, and algae is actually growing, and this is what I wanted to achieve with this setup by adding such a bright light on top. This is just a regular, of course, LED lamp. It only has one color spectrum, which is absolutely enough for these plants and especially for algae. And the reason why I wanted to have algae is because of all this rubber nose Chaetostoma plecos that I have in here, and all of them are currently hiding. Yeah, so overall I'm quite happy with how this setup functions and how it looks at the moment. The Corydoras, of course, are very shy, and the plecos are very shy, so I'm going to be adding here Apheocharox rasbani, which I have in a different tank, and they will also enjoy living in unheated setup, which is what it is. And I love how moss is growing in here, because it adds a lot of greenery to this otherwise kind of a brownish setup, and this is basically what I want in here. Yeah, so idea behind this setup that both of the species, Chaetostoma species of plecos and Corydoras, they're still relatively young. They're not juveniles, but they're relatively young, so they will grow up and they will be conditioned here for breeding. In the case of Chaetostoma plecos, rubber nose plecos, they are cave spawners, so I have created a few crevices and caves in here. That's where they live at the moment, and the expectation is that they will breed in there as well. In the case of Corydoras, I will either be adding a lot of leaf litter and hoping that they will breed here naturally, or I will move them to a separate breeding setup where I will expect to breed them. Okay, so basically that's it for this setup. It's quite functional, low energy efficient setup, I would say, and looks quite nice as well. Not very active, definitely not very active, so that's why I want to add some middle and upper layer swimmers such as tetras to actually add a bit more activity in this setup. Alright, so I will keep you updated on how this system functions and what happens to the plants and how fish develop. And I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and please click the like button.